Well, here we are. We are just moving so quickly towards Christmas. My brother gave me the most beautiful Christmas bouquet, so of course I have to paint it. I painted it a few times over with different colors on the vase, so you can figure out which one you like best when you paint along with me. Now, because we are working to creating these paintings within the margins of the busy lives that we're leading, I don't do a lot of wet on wet, so I leave the background pretty bare, which means we're really trying to fill up with bold color the rest of the painting. So be careful not to let the red and greens mix, because that will turn to a muddy brown. Make sure you have a paper towel nearby. Let's start painting together. Okay, so we are back. We are here painting a new floral, a Christmas floral. My dear brother gave me a lovely bouquet of Christmas flowers, really lilies that have these beautiful Christmas berries and Christmas pine and greenery. And I thought, we are going to paint these, because how can we not take advantage, right, of these gorgeous flowers? And just note, there's been people outside all day cutting down trees and all sorts of things. So it's a little bit quieter now, and I'm hoping not too much of that gets in the background. So let's go ahead and start painting. What we're going to do, you notice I have a red vase here, I have a green vase here, and I think on this one I'm going to go back to green. And you can tell me in the comments if you like the green vase better or if you like the red vase better. There's definitely very much a different look to each one of them. So I will say too, each of these look different because every time you turn the vase, you see a little bit of a different side of the bouquet. Also, as artists and painters, we have the ability where we get to decide how many lilies do I want in the painting. There's actually, there is, I think, 7 lilies in this bouquet, and some of them are not opened up yet, like the couple that I have up here. Some of them are. And if I was to paint all of them, it just felt like way too many. So I just chose a few that I could create a really nice composition here. And I'm going to go around. You'll find that adding in the pine, the greenery, I think it's just so much fun. It is very rhythmic, very relaxing. Just grab a brush that has the round tip, or just a small tip too. If you want to use a smaller brush that I'm using, you'll get even smaller pine needles. So I have a tube, but I think it's in my bedroom. And I'm like, it is not here. So we are just using what I have around me. And I actually think I'm going to add in one more right over here. So I'm going to just do a real light one. And then I'm going to come back and we'll add in the stem, the brown wood part. All right, so that looks really good. That looks very nice. Now for the inside of my lilies, the lilies are white, but we have to create some sort of color inside, right, to give the contrast. We're not going to do a whole background. That is one way. I could do a background, and that would really make the white lilies pop. But that would take longer, and I'd have to wait for everything to dry. And we are trying to get this done. As you know, we like to try to paint. We're finding creativity in the margins of our lives, right? So in about 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I have mixed some green and cadmium yellow. And if you even maybe want to add a touch of brown in there, the burnt sienna, you certainly can. Add a lot of water, and I might even, add a lot of water. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just actually creating almost a sense of shadowing in around some of the white. It's not too much. It's just a little bit. I might even come back with a little bit of blue. If you think that looks too dark, it looks fine. I might just throw in a bit of blue. So even grab some blue if you want to play around with some brown. And again, lots of water. We're not really going for a specific color, almost just a soft shadowing. That blue and brown can sometimes turn into a bit of almost a gray. And I'll end up adding that a little bit a few other places too. Like we can even go ahead and add that down here where let's actually do that. We'll take our blue on this one and add just a little bit of a light blue on our, it's not a floor, our tablecloth. Our tablecloth here. We'll make it a blue table. Just really light, and then a little bit more blue right in here. Okay, now I am going to come back. I'm going to pick up my brown, and you can see even over here how thick this guy is, see how thick those branches are? So we want to make sure while the greenery is rather thin branches, our berries are thick branches, and really creating that contrast and texture and thickness helps to bring really more of an interest, just an interesting angle to the composition. I was just thinking of the word there. Okay, so again, don't color everything in, making sure we have some white showing where things are dancing off each other. We've got some brown. I'm also going to add in brown where my brushes or my pine needles are. If you find you have some green in there, not a big deal. Just rinse it off, pick up some more brown, and go ahead and once again add some brown leaves in here. I'm going to put some brown also right down the middle of this guy. Really the beauty too, I think, of greenery in the berries is how wild it looks. Like, I love how wild it looks. It really is lovely. Okay, I'm going to pick up some more brown. I just want the tips, like we have some branches sticking out here. So I just want to add that in too. Add in a little bit more brown over here. Okay, now pick up your green again. Actually, what color do we want to do? We're going to go back to green, I think. Am I going to go back to green? I think I am. I think I'm going to do some green here. And I'm going to make a green vase. The only problem really with my green vase is that I have some leaves sticking out, which are green too. So you'll notice too, I'm going to go ahead and just move around the edges of these flowers. I have kept my vase pretty narrow. I accidentally, the one with the red, I got a little bit too wide and it looked a little bit squatty. And I didn't want a squatty vase. It really felt like this vase needs to have the appearance of being really long because the lily flowers are just covering it up, right? It's covering up that top part. I'm going to go down here. Now on the bottom of the vase, make sure to leave some white because that's showing again where the light is reflecting off. And I'm just going to move that around here. And I'm not going to bother. It doesn't need to look really exact. I'm not worried about how that looks right now. As far as we've got some shadowing going on, I'm going to take some darker. I'm going to go right in the middle. And then I'm even going to add in where I think that water line might be because I can kind of see it in my vase. There's a bit of the light coming through. So I'm just going to add that in right there. Now I am going to come back up. I'm going to take your green, mix it with some yellow, and then some water so it's nice and light. And you'll notice if you're going and seeing any lilies at the store, if you notice in the picture at the beginning, there is actually, the lilies quite have some yellow in them. It's a green yellow for sure. So I'm going to put a little bit of yellow here. We're just going to let that sit. I'm going to pull it down the stems. And I noticed some green yellow right in the center where the little, I don't know, the little faces are coming out. I don't even know what to call those. The tendrils. The right word is escaping me. I'm going to grab the brown, and the end of the tendrils, the stamen, I believe is the name. We have the pollinator guys. I'm really technical today, aren't I? Pollinator guys. So these ones they look like a little bit of an L. So it's like a bendy L. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to add that on. Okay, now let's add the pop of red, and this is where the whole thing will pop. That red really brings everything together. So I'm using a cadmium red light. It's like a Christmas red or a fire engine red. And I am going to start adding my red in up here. Now you know, if you've painted with me before, I like to move color around to really make the whole thing sing. And I was thinking about that, so what I think I'm going to do is add some berries at the bottom as if they'd fallen. And I'm just going to draw them in and then add some color. And then I'm going to come back in and we're going to add some more greener because I think we need it to look a little bit thicker. This one didn't quite fill up as much as my other ones did. So like right down here, I can come back in. I want to make sure you can see this okay. Okay, and over here you can see too, I had added in the berries there. And let me straighten this out. For you. There we go. Little bit better, I'm thinking. Coming down here, and I'm just going to go ahead And really, the berries I think would have dropped over there, since there's no berries on the other side. So I am going to just add in like right, maybe 1, 2, and then a third berry right here. I'm going to cut, it's just a tad bit wet down there. I'm going to go ahead and just add in some red. Again, not covering up the whole thing in red. You want it to be darker and you want to leave a little bit of a white spot. And we can even add in some shadowing after it dries a bit. So now I'm going to come back up. I want to add in some more green. First, I'm going to pull in a bit of that green yellow again, a little bit more green. And I'm going to pull it down here where I have this guy. So let's create that green stem in there and then just pull it up so that these flowers look a little bit more like they're not sitting on top of the stalk, but they all belong together. And then I'm also going to come back down in here and add just a touch of that color inside the middle of the flower and around some of these petals. Now this right here is a leaf, so I need to come back and let's go ahead and add in our leaves. This was a leaf over here that was coming out off of one of the lilies. And then down here is a leaf. Not down here, up here is a leaf. And then I have some leaves right here. So I just have a hooker's green right there. And we're adding this on. And that looks nice. Now I know the green is really close to the vase, but it felt a little bit better than having a lot of red. Okay, so that looks nice right there. I am going to come back up with the green and I'm going to add in just a little bit more color, creating that bit of a contrast, right? And I'm even going to extend this guy out a little bit more and just fill up the space. Pick up that green, nice and saturated. I'm not adding a lot of water right now because I want a super dark green. Okay, that's looking really nice. Come back over here, just pull those out a little bit more. Over here as well. This is kind of the opposite of our Charlie Brown Christmas tree from last week, right? We're creating a really nice, thick area. Okay, I'm just about done here. Now, I haven't done a lot of splattering in this particular one. We were just doing some painting, but I feel like with the white on this one, I just need a bit of something. I'm not going to splatter. We're going to not do that this particular one, but I am going to grab some of that yellow and brown mixture. Mix that up, really add a lot of water if you're doing that with me, so it's super light. I'm actually even gonna, maybe if you have a bigger brush, grab a bigger brush. Let's see, I actually don't really have one nearby. That's okay, I have a little bit, got a size 7, so I'll pick that up. And I'm just gonna go ahead and even just around here, I'm not actually gonna touch anything too much. I'm adding just maybe around the edges, almost a little bit of a wash, but I'm not going to go over anything except the white areas. So just moving that around, adding some more water. I don't really want tons of color, but just a little bit of a contrast with the white, and that's going to help make our flowers pop a bit too, right? And then I'm going to come over here to where we have that beautiful petal over here. Okay, I really like that. Maybe just a hint. I'm not getting too close to those berries because I don't want to mess on our hands, right? Okay, and that looks really nice. So you can see now we have 3 paintings, all the same subject matter. They have very much a different look. I could certainly go through with all of them and add in some other details too. You'll have to let me know which one you like the best. And I look forward to painting with you guys really soon. We are having so much fun painting these beautiful Christmas florals. I will see you soon.